Everything you see growing here has one job: to feed our family and feed our chickens. And we're doing it on just half an acre of land. But if this place is going to produce a year's worth of food, the work actually starts right now, before anything is even growing. Spring on a small homestead doesn't start with harvesting. It starts with building the system that will feed us all year long. And later this year, I'm planting something I've never tried before, my own variety of chicken feed corn. Today I'm going to take you along as we wake this place up again and get it ready to produce food for our family. First up is our fruit trees. We planted these about 6 years ago. Last year was the first year we finally started seeing a real harvest coming on, and I kind of blew it. Caterpillars got ahead of me because I didn't stay consistent with spraying BT and fungicide. And when you're trying to replace grocery store food, that stuff really matters. My kids go through apples like you wouldn't believe. And if these trees produce well for us, that's one less item we're buying every week. So this year, I'm doing it differently. I'm gonna prune these trees properly, try to keep to a schedule on spraying them, and try to protect the harvest as best I can before it even begins. Over here is what used to be our market garden. We're not growing for market anymore, but I'm using the exact same system. The only difference is now it's growing for us and for the chickens. I like to keep the soil covered with tarps until I'm ready to plant. It protects the soil structure, keeps weeds down, and lets the biology underneath build naturally. Today we're going to be getting potatoes in the ground. These are potatoes we saved from last year. You can see all the sprouts pushing out already. These potatoes are ready to go in the ground. And if I wait much longer, they're going to start declining in quality, so they really need to get in the ground today. Saving your own seed potatoes is one more step toward a real closed loop system. Now this might just look like a few rows of vegetables, but when you add up everything growing on this property, the fruit trees, the corn, the squash, the feed crops for the animals, this little half acre ends up producing way more food than most people would ever expect. That's the system I'm trying to build here. Not just a garden, but something that actually feeds us all year.
Today was to start cleaning. We're going to plant carrots here, and it won't be fun. And my dad is going to use the flowers block right here, and we're going to do the cedar.
All right, let's do it. I'm planting a variety called Mokum, which is a sweet, quick-growing carrot, and another variety called Royal Chantenay, which is a thick storage carrot that stores really well for us. But before I plant carrots, I like to broad fork the soil. I don't till the soil. I just loosen the soil deep so that these roots of the carrots can push straight down instead of fighting compaction. Then I'll add compost, and today that compost is coming straight from our chicken run. That compost is rich and high in nitrogen, and too much nitrogen can give you some leafy tops to your carrots and very tiny roots. So I'm going to balance that out with adding a little wood ash to bring phosphorus back into the soil. And that should hopefully help push energy downward into root development for those carrots. And when you're trying to grow a year's worth of food, doing things like that really matters. Here, we have the Earthway seeder. This was the very first seeding tool that I got on our homestead. And if you garden in long rows like we do, this is probably the best thing that you could buy to help save your back from bending over and planting individual seeds, especially small seeds like carrots. And right now, I'm going to be planting these Royal Chantenay carrots. These are a fat, great storage carrot. They last for a really long time in the fridge. And the Earthway comes with all different size seed plates. And this one is for small seeds like lettuce and carrots. And that's what I'm going to be using. And it just goes right on the inside here, locks in. There we go. See? All right. So now we're ready to put seeds inside here. And then we'll plant some rows of carrots. Oh yeah, I'm dropping plenty of seeds. All right, we're gonna do 3 rows. Yeah, do you see all the seeds coming out?
Yeah.
Now, once we're safely past the threat of frost, the rest of this area really comes alive. We're going to be planting peanuts a large patch of corn, and a lot of squash. Squash is one of the most important crops on our property. We grow it for us, for soups, roasting, and for long-term winter storage. But we also grow it for the animals. A single storage squash can feed our family one night, or it could supplement the chickens and ducks for many days. Squash keeps for months without refrigeration, without electricity, and it's just really nice to have shelf-stable calories just sitting, waiting to be used. That's the kind of security that I'm looking for. The corn going in here won't be just any corn either. I'm developing my own feed corn for the chickens. There are so many incredible corn varieties out there with different colors and different genetics, different traits. But I just don't have the acreage to grow 10 different kinds of corn. So instead, I'm going to be breeding a few of these varieties that I really like together. I'm going to be blending colors, different traits, and building something adapted to our soil and our climate on just our half-acre. I want to create an all-in-one, resilient, multicolor feed corn landrace for our chickens and our ducks. That's the vision. And maybe in a few years, if it stabilizes and performs well, I'll share it with all of you. But first, I need to prove it here. The back half of this plot will also be for animal feed. I don't have anything planted yet because it's still far too cold for the crops that I'm going to be planting. But this is where the amaranth and sunflowers are going to be planted. There's going to be big seed heads everywhere, and the corn will be rising behind them. There will be squash vines running underneath. There's going to be food growing vertically and horizontally. I can already picture this field in midsummer. On the other side of the property is our front garden. I've had the ducks working this area for several weeks now, cleaning up what remained from last year's chicken garden. And I love watching them work. They dig and search, and they've been picking corn off the old corn stalks. They work their beaks into the soil looking for food, but they don't destroy the ground quite the way that chickens do. They manage it much better. And speaking of the ducks, one thing that's really surprised me this year is how consistent they've been laying eggs. All through winter, when the chickens slowed way down, the ducks just kept producing almost every day. And that's been huge for us. We've been loving these khaki Campbell ducks. They're calm, they forage well, they really don't tear the ground apart too much, and they lay eggs like machines, and I love that. I love it so much that we just put 19 of their eggs into our incubator. 19! So we're expanding our duck flock. This front plot will be corn again, but this year, we're going to be growing a sweet corn variety for our family. It's hard to find truly organic sweet corn, so that's why we grow it ourselves. And just like the feed corn, I'm experimenting. I'm going to be combining newer corn varieties with some older, colorful ones to create a more resilient, multicolor, drought-tolerant sweet corn landrace adapted to our soil. Something that hopefully will improve with every season. I am so excited to try to breed our own sweet corn. And then there's the front raised bed garden. This is the garden I wrote about in my book, The 400 Square Foot Garden, which by the way is on sale right now on Amazon. So check that out in the link below. This garden is still producing for us. We've been harvesting carrots all winter. Our garlic is planted and coming up strong. And today we're planting sugar snap peas to climb this cattle panel trellis. My kids love sugar snap peas. And this year, they're finally going to get a proper home because I never seem to have a good place to plant them. But this year, they're going to get their place. You and
a spider!
Spider?
Yeah.
Where?
It climbed.
Oh. Did it bite you?
No.
I never seen Spider-Man afraid of a spider. We're also going to be expanding with more peppers and onions this year in our front raised bed garden. They've already been seeded, growing in the greenhouse and inside of our house on racks with heat mats and grow lights. This is the first year I've had a true seed starting setup like this with heat mats, grow lights, the whole system. And honestly, I may have gotten a little excited because I already seeded our tomatoes too. Maybe a little early, but I just couldn't help myself. Most of these tomatoes are going into our small greenhouse, something I've never fully committed to before, growing them undercover. And if it works like I think it will, we'll be able to plant those tomatoes earlier and harvest them earlier and for much longer period, than if we planted them out in the field. In this greenhouse, we're going to be focusing on growing Amish paste tomatoes. That's our crop that we depend on for making sauce and salsa for canning. Out in the big field, we'll still be planting slicing tomatoes for fresh eating. But the greenhouse is going to be about pushing as much production as possible from those canning tomatoes. And here's something funny. All these beds were fertilized this winter. And not by me, but by rabbits. They've been eating what little was left in all of these raised beds and leaving some nice pellets behind everywhere. Normally I'd be frustrated by that, but honestly, I didn't leave much growing out here this winter, so at least we got some free fertilizer out of the deal. That's part of working with the land. At least nothing was really wasted. This half acre has to work, not just because it's beautiful, and not just because I make videos about it, but because it feeds us, and it feeds our animals. And every year we get a little closer to closing the loop. Spring is here, and everything we eat this year starts right now.